Do you know how many people have admitted that they have a substance addiction problem that receives some type of welfare assistance? At least 5%. Do you know how many people receiving temporary assistance for needy families reported having used an illicit drug at least once in the past year? The answer is 20% of recipients. Taxpayers provide support to those in need. In return, welfare recipients should be drug tested as a condition of receiving aid. I've had an interest on this topic for several years, and I've read numerous articles on this topic. There are many people in need of welfare assistance. However, a growing number of welfare recipients are abusing the system by using drugs while receiving welfare aid. This is a problem that creates long-term dependency while aiding drug use on taxpayer-funded money. The problem can be eliminated by simply requiring random drug testing for all welfare recipients. Now let us look at the problem in more detail. Our growing problem is that a percentage of welfare recipients have reported using illicit drugs and have admitted to and having a substance addiction. The Robert Wood Foundation reported in 2007 that approximately 20% of temporary assistance for needy families reported having used illicit drugs at least once in the past year, and at least 5% admitted that they had a substance addiction. Requiring welfare recipients to stop using illegal drugs is a core element of reciprocal obligation, which is a duty owed by one individual to another and vice versa. This creates an agreement between each welfare recipient and the taxpayer. This would promote self-sufficiency among able-bodied adults and would discourage long-term dependency on the government. This promotes employment and self-sufficiency, which basically would foster a drug-free environment. Scientific evaluation of Florida's drug testing requirements showed that welfare recipients who used illegal drugs had earnings that were 30% lower than those who did not. Quite simply stated, drug use is linked to lower levels of work. Now let us look at an effective solution in more detail. An effective solution to this problem was basically to require drug testing for all recipients of welfare. Random drug testing would accomplish two goals. It would help those recipients with drug problems conquer them by first identifying the problem, offering treatment, and not paying them with welfare assistance until they got help. The second goal would basically prevent recipients from buying drugs with money provided by welfare assistance, and this would help reduce the waste of taxpayer dollars. The main argument that's provided by critics against mandatory drug testing is that it is an unfair attack on the poor. However, the most compelling reason to require it is that it will truly help those who are affected. Requiring drug testing is no different than millions of private employers who require drug testing for employees in order for them to work for a paycheck, to get a job. To conclude, it is evident that there is a growing number of welfare recipients who are abusing the welfare system by using drugs. The system was created for people who are truly in need of assistance and who are drug-free. Random drug testing for welfare recipients would eliminate abuse of the welfare system and would help recipients with their drug problems by helping them first acknowledge their drug problem. Once they acknowledge their problem, that is basically the first step in helping them in the recovery process. Employers in the private sector, like I've stated before, require drug testing for their employees. Therefore, requiring random drug testing for welfare recipients should be no different. Requiring random drug testing for welfare recipients is not a form of punishment, but rather a safeguard for taxpayers. Senator Jeff King summed it up precisely by stating, "This is not meant to be a punitive measure," and I don't believe it is a punitive measure.